Imagine yourself on the cool, awakening sands of the Giza Plateau as the first hint of sunrise brushes the eastern horizon in gentle golds and rose. Looming above you, massive and eternal, stands the Great Pyramid, its limestone silhouette, quiet but impossibly commanding. It has reigned here for over 4,000 years, watching as the ebb and flow of empires, cultures, and beliefs surged and faded across these timeless deserts. You are not alone in your fascination. For centuries, travelers, storytellers, and seekers of wonder have looked up at this ancient marvel, wondering what secrets could possibly slumber inside. What stories are its stones keeping? What mysteries lie unseen just beneath the surface? The Great Pyramid of Giza is not only the last of antiquity's 7 wonders to endure into our modern age, it is also the grandest riddle ever raised by human hands. Some say it was built by slaves at the whim of an all-powerful pharaoh. Others whisper about buried treasures, curses, or lost texts concealed in winding corridors. Astronomers, poets, and adventurers alike have claimed that the pyramid encodes timeless cosmic wisdom. Its sides are lined so precisely that some claim it is a message to the stars. The world's greatest minds have tried to count and measure its every block, to decipher the purpose behind chambers, shafts, and secret doors. Yet even in the 21st century, the pyramid guards its enigma. Recently, the silent stone surrendered up a new riddle, a hidden chamber, sealed and undisturbed for thousands of years, revealed not by wandering explorers, but through the soft whisper of subatomic particles passing silently through the rock. It's a discovery that has rekindled our most ancient questions. What could lie within this untouched space? Was it meant for a king, a god, or something unknown? Is it a relic of construction, a symbol, or a vault for lost knowledge? Tonight, nestled in your favorite spot, let your mind drift quietly back across the ages. We'll slip between the present and the past, walking silent corridors and listening for stories written in stone. We'll explore the world of Pharaoh Khufu, meet the artisans whose hands shaped this colossus, and peer into the theoretical shadows of the newly revealed chamber. The answers may still be hidden, but the journey will be as soothing as the desert winds themselves, rich with wonder, speculation, and the comfort of curiosity. So let the gentle cadence of time and the hush of ancient mystery guide you. The gates of history are open. Let us step, softly and unhurried, into the secrets of the Great Pyramid. Imagine yourself transported gently to ancient Egypt, nearly 4,600 years ago. The morning sun is rising above the Nile, and a new day begins along the life-giving river. The land is green where the flood has recently retreated, leaving behind rich, dark soil that will yield the grain and sustenance for a great civilization. In the shadow of date palms, herders and farmers begin their steady work, the same rhythm, day after day, forming a heartbeat that pulses beneath the grandeur yet to be built. At this moment in history, Egypt is a land unified and thriving under the rule of one man, Pharaoh Khufu, known in Greek as Cheops. His reign marks the heart of the 4th dynasty in the Old Kingdom, a golden age when pharaohs were gods on earth and the state was strong. Khufu sits on his throne at Memphis, the bright white capital of Egypt, and dreams of immortality, of a monument to outlast flood, famine, and time itself. Khufu is in many ways a mystery. The stories that survive are fragmentary, often filtered through distant ages or the pens of outsiders long after his passing. He is remembered as both a master builder and as a ruler whose ambitions reached toward heaven. The Greek historian Herodotus would centuries later claim that Khufu was harsh and tyrannical. Yet these narratives fade like desert winds when weighed against the enormity of what he achieved, the Great Pyramid. Pause for a moment and picture Khufu's Egypt. Courtiers and scribes move quietly through painted hallways. Artisans craft treasures from gold, faience, and lapis lazuli. Priests chant hymns in cool shadowed temples, and laborers, young and old, contribute sweat and skill to the great undertakings of the realm. There is majesty here, yes, but also a quieter current, a collective effort, an orchestration of thousands unified by the vision of their living God. The desert edge is scattered with rising mastebas, rectangular tombs, each representing families and officials indebted to the pharaoh's favor. But at Giza, a more extraordinary project is coming to life, a pyramid planned to dwarf all others, reaching for eternity itself. Surveyors map the plateau under a sky glittering with stars, guided by both mathematics and law many centuries refined. The air is thick with anticipation. Even the river seems to pause, as if recognizing the dawn of something truly immortal. Here, at the crossroads between life and death, the practical and the divine, Pharaoh Khufu's story begins, set among the sands and stones that will build an empire's greatest achievement. Imagine the early morning haze on the Giza plateau, the sound of measured footsteps and the low murmur of voices weaving through soft desert air. For many centuries, countless imaginations have filled this landscape with the harsh clatter of whips and the groans of slaves toiling under a merciless sun, compelled by the whim of an all-powerful pharaoh. But quiet investigation reveals a different story, one less dramatic, yet just as remarkable. Today, the overwhelming consensus among Egyptologists is that the Great Pyramid was built not by enslaved masses, but by a workforce of skilled, well-fed laborers and artisans drawn from across the realm. These were men, and some women, who lived near the construction site in organized communities, their lives sustained by the rhythms of labor, rest, and ceremonial duty. Archaeological discoveries, traces of bakeries, breweries, dormitories, even athletic facilities, paint a picture of a robust settlement bustling with daily life. Imagine yourself wandering among these people. Some are strong, practiced haulers, moving massive blocks of limestone on sledges, greased with water and unified by song. Others are seasoned masons, measuring and shaping stone with copper chisels, their hands steady and deliberate. In the mornings, the smell of bread baking in large communal ovens drifts across workyards, and in the evenings, laughter and stories fill humble homes as the coolness of night descends. Supervisors walk the lines, tablets in hand, keeping meticulous records of attendance and rations, the ancient world's answer to the modern punch card. The workers are rotated in shifts, some living for months at the site before returning to their villages, proud of their contribution to immortal works. Their tombs, some discovered close to the pyramid itself, bear inscriptions not of enslavement, but of honor, depicting their role as servants of the royal tomb. Meanwhile, a smaller elite of highly trained architects, surveyors and engineers directs the project's grand design. Overseers consult astronomical charts and the wisdom of sacred geometry. Everything must align, spiritually with the heavens, and physically with the exacting requirements of stability and permanence. All around, daily life continues, children playing at the margins, markets supplying onions, fish and beer, doctors tending to an injured hand or a fatigue-filled back. There is hardship, certainly, and moments of loss, the dangers of stone and sand, the relentless heat, but also camaraderie and a collective pride. It is a constant struggle, not against chains, but against the limits of possibility. The true builders of the Great Pyramid lived lives both ordinary and extraordinary, secure in the knowledge that their efforts would echo through millennia, etched into the world's most enduring monument. Let us turn our gaze to the very bones of the pyramid, that vast, endless assembly of stone. To walk among the ruins at Giza is to stand in the midst of a geological orchestra, each ancient block whispering of places miles away, of journeys whose echoes linger in the silence. Picture, in your mind's eye, the soft dawn light filtering over the Nile Valley. To the south, at quarries in Tura and Aswan, in the shadow of distant cliffs, skilled laborers awaken. Their tools, refined through generations, break the bonds of limestone and granite. With rhythmic strikes and careful wedges, they coax vast blocks from living rock. The air is thick with the scent of fresh stone, dust and anticipation swirling in equal measure. The journey from quarry to pyramid is a marvel of logistics, one that evokes as much awe as the finished structure itself. Stone blocks, some weighing as much as 70 tons, are dragged by large teams onto wooden sledges. To ease their path, the ancient Egyptians learned to moisten the sand ahead, creating a smooth surface along which these immense burdens would glide. At times, as we now know, the swollen Nile played a role, boats bearing granite from Aswan as the river swelled in its yearly flood, water transforming the desert into an artery of movement and life. Along the route, rest stops are established, supply chains maintained, water and sustenance flowing alongside the cargo. Supervisors keep careful count of each stone's provenance, a detail that would help Khufu's architects track quality and ensure the endurance of their work. Now, on the Giza Plateau, the rhythmic process begins anew. Ramps of mud brick and limestone rise beside the growing pyramid, scaffolding ingenuity, balancing the weight of ambition. One can almost hear the call and response chants of workers, the controlled descent of massive blocks, as teams strain in unison. Some theories favor straight ramps, others zigzagging switchbacks, or even spiral paths enveloping the monument's rising face. Each method speaks to an era of relentless experimentation and problem-solving, an ancient science born not in ivory towers, but in the dust and sweat of daily labor. As the pyramid climbs skyward, the grand design takes shape, each block carefully mortared, aligned and smoothed, each one a testament to the combined power of vision and communal will. The completion of every level is marked with celebration, offerings to the gods, and perhaps a silent moment beneath the stars, as workers reflect on the immensity of their creation. All these countless stones, sourced from many places, shaped by many hands, converge into a singular, silent purpose, to stand as an eternal link between earth and sky, Pharaoh and the afterlife, the known and the unknown. Imagine yourself standing at the very threshold of the Great Pyramid, the limestone walls rising around you with geometric precision. The passage of time softens the original brilliance of the casing stones, but even now the structure's form remains crisp against the Egyptian sky. Step quietly into the shadowed entrance, aware of the cool, hushed air that envelops you, carrying the timeless scent of ancient stone. Inside, the pyramid is more than a simple pile of carefully dressed blocks. It is a complex labyrinth of corridors and chambers, carefully nested within one another. Near the heart of it all lies the king's chamber, a room of perfect lines and right angles, constructed from enormous blocks of granite, their surfaces cool and unyielding to the touch. It is both imposing and spare, designed to house the king's sarcophagus, yet shorn of the dazzling treasures more typical of other royal tombs. Beneath the king's chamber is the enigmatic queen's chamber, so named by early explorers, though its true purpose remains an unsolved mystery. Its walls slope gently, the ceiling rising in an iconic pointed vault, perhaps meant to evoke the form of a primordial mound or womb of rebirth. No evidence of a queen's burial has ever been found here, further deepening its mystery. Connecting these central chambers is the Grand Gallery, a soaring corridor, 7 times the height of a man, with walls that slope inward in a stepped fashion. Imagine the gentle sound of your steps echoing along its length. The precise function of this space remains contested. Was it once the assembly axis for moving stones, a ceremonial passage for the departed pharaoh's spirit, or a symbolic stairway to the stars? Elsewhere, narrow ventilation shafts pierce the pyramid's core, extending from the chambers toward the outer faces. Their purpose is both practical, aiding airflow for workers, and perhaps imbued with spiritual meaning, aligning with particular stars for the king's soul to ascend. Even the original entrance, with its perfectly cut doorway, was once sealed to ensure the pharaoh's safety. Every detail, every chamber, passage and shaft was laid with purpose, precision and reverence. Imagine yourself pausing, fingertips grazing the cool stone, aware that you are tracing the boundaries of an ancient and unfinished riddle. Within these walls, the Great Pyramid hints at the countless choices, hopes and beliefs of long-vanished hands, and beckons you forward into further wonder. As you quietly traverse the inner passageways of the Great Pyramid, allow your imagination to drift upward, high above its gleaming peak, where sky and stone nearly touch. Pause for a moment to reflect on the pyramid's extraordinary relationship with the heavens, a testament to the ancient Egyptians' sophisticated understanding of both mathematics and the cosmos. The builders of Khufu's pyramid achieved an alignment so astonishingly accurate that it continues to puzzle modern architects and astronomers. Each of the four sides is oriented almost perfectly to the four cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, deviating by less than a single degree. Imagine, before the age of compasses and computer models, surveyors using simple tools, plumb bobs, sighting rods, and keen observation of the stars. By tracking the circumpolar constellations, that eternal, unmoving ring in the night sky, they established true north with astonishing precision. This was no accident. Egyptians believed that the pharaoh's soul would be reborn among the imperishable stars, those that never faded below the horizon. The Great Pyramid itself was designed as a cosmic vessel, a bridge between earthly existence and celestial eternity. Imagine yourself watching the sunrise during the solstice, its rays just brushing the edge of the perfectly squared base, as if interacting with the landscape and the afterlife all at once. Internally, the so-called air shafts, those mysterious narrow passageways extending from the king's and queen's chambers, do not simply aid ventilation. Many scholars propose they were aligned to specific stars and constellations, Sirius, Orion's belt, or even the circumpolar stars known as the Indestructibles. This intricate celestial mapping may have helped guide the pharaoh's spirit on its destined path through the night sky's eternal darkness, ensuring his successful journey to the afterlife. Everything, from the slope of each triangular face, an angle close to the sun's radiance at certain times of the year, to the even spacing and orientation of neighboring pyramids, reflects a desire to invoke cosmic order, an eternal harmony between humankind, earth, and the divine. Linger with this awareness that beneath the still perfection of ancient stone, the whole structure pulses with a quiet resonance, a message set in geometry, reaching out to the stars. As we venture deeper, allow yourself to move slowly, each step echoing softly through compact corridors where shadows and cool air reign undisturbed. Within this great monument, the ancient architects carved narrow shafts, barely the width of a hand, that stretch outward from the innermost chambers to the pyramid's exterior. These are the mysterious ventilation shafts, running from both the king's and queen's chambers, piercing layer after layer of ancient stone. Pause and imagine the delicate work required. Each channel was started by hand, with copper chisels and patience, meticulously planned and maintained in perfect straightness for many meters. It is a feat, both simple and profound, a testament to quiet ingenuity that whispers softly through millennia. At first glance, one might assume such channels served a practical purpose, providing fresh air to the laborers who worked deep within as the tomb took shape. And indeed, these passages kept life-giving breezes circulating, allowing artisans to continue their work in safety and perhaps comfort. Yet, as with so much else in the pyramid, there are mysteries hidden beneath the obvious. Modern research shows that the lower shafts, those reaching from the Queen's chamber, do not directly exit the pyramid at all. Instead, they end abruptly within the stone, as if blocked or concealed behind some long-forgotten stone plug. The upper shafts, by contrast, journey straight outward, connecting the king's chamber with the world beyond, yet their narrowness makes it almost impossible for a living person to traverse. Here, our imagination must linger. Were these simply pragmatic solutions, now rendered obsolete once the tomb was sealed, or could they have served a more transcendent function, a route for the pharaoh's spirit to escape, aligning, as some believe, with distant stars, as prescribed by ancient funerary texts? Indeed, modern robotics and cameras have peered into these shafts, encountering strange doors with copper handles, enigmatic voids, and stonework apparently untouched for thousands of years. The shafts seem to breathe with subtle purpose, hinting, always, at something just beyond reach. As you stand, quiet and still, among these ancient avenues of air and stone, sense the patient intent of their creators. Practical necessity and sacred design, interwoven like threads in a timeless tapestry, carry forth their silent messages, inviting each passing age to return, to ponder, to wonder. Let us linger in the shadowy silence of the pyramid's inner sanctum a moment longer and allow time to slip gently forward. The grand monument, fresh and gleaming in Khufu's day, was never intended as a treasure vault open for daily passage. Yet even in antiquity, the doors of secrecy proved most inviting. Once the pharaoh's body and burial goods were sealed within, priests tended rituals outside, guarding the sacred threshold as centuries drifted past. But the allure of hidden riches has ever been a companion to grand tombs, and so too did whispers circulate. Of gold, of sacred texts, of objects worthy of kings and gods, buried deep in the heart of the pyramid. Little is known of the earliest tomb robbers, but clues remain hidden in the cracks of stone and the graffiti of later explorers. Ancient intruders favored moonless nights and patient labor, chiseling at sealed doors, sometimes finding only empty corridors or clever fake chambers meant to deceive. Imagine, if you would, the torches sputtering in the stale air, the muffled sounds of stone tools against ancient block, the hearts of intruders pounding with hope and fear. By the time of the New Kingdom, centuries after Khufu's reign, the pyramid's secrets had already drawn crowds of pilgrims and thieves. Some came with prayers and offerings, leaving simple votive objects. Others, more determined, managed to force their way in, picking apart the earth and stone with persistence that echoed the original builder's will. Yet, for all the attempts at trespass, many found little of material value. Whatever treasures may once have filled the pyramid were likely removed, long before many could glimpse its hidden heart. Even so, the irresistible magnetism of the forbidden, the promise of concealed wisdom and wealth, ensured a constant struggle between concealment and discovery, a contest between the silence of the tomb and the restless curiosity of humankind. The pyramid, through centuries of intrusion and rumor, has retained its composure, enduring each trespass as a challenge to its mastery of mystery. The stories of interlopers, ancient and modern, are but another chapter in its ongoing legend, a testament to the monument's persistent, soothing allure. As centuries passed, the Great Pyramid's silent endurance became twined with legends and myths, its chambers long emptied yet never forgotten. By the late 18th and 19th centuries, a new breed of explorers arrived on the Giza Plateau, curious, ambitious, sometimes reckless, always hungry for discovery. Among the first of this era was the enigmatic Napoleon Bonaparte. Imagine, if you will, the pyramid's silhouette in 1798, as Napoleon and his scholars, known as the savants, stood quietly at its base, the desert sun casting sharp shadows. Bonaparte himself is said to have spent a restless night alone within the king's chamber, emerging at dawn with a mysterious, haunted expression. What he may have experienced, he never revealed, his silence only deepening the chamber's legend. Driven by the Enlightenment spirit, the French expedition catalogued, measured and mapped the monuments with new vigor, seeking not treasure, but understanding. They published the monumental Description de l'Egypte, a work that inspired generations of archaeologists. Their measurements found mathematical marvels in the pyramid's proportions, inspiring speculation about secret codes, astronomical alignments, and lost ancient wisdom. Soon, European scholars and adventurers followed. The early 1800s brought Giovanni Caviglia, who cleared ancient debris and rediscovered forgotten passages, and Colonel Howard Weiss, whose explosive forays carved new entries into the pyramid's very bones. While his methods were more invasive than scientific, Weiss is credited with identifying ancient quarry marks inscribed with the name of Khufu, tangible evidence connecting the king to his eternal monument. Imagine the labor of clearing centuries of rubble, the soft brush of lantern light on hieroglyphs newly revealed. Early explorers, surrounded by the musty scent of enclosed air, experienced both the wonder of first penetration and the melancholy awareness that they walked where time had stood still for ages. These first systematic investigations brought a rush of discoveries and inevitably more mysteries. Some explorers documented their finds with ivory-bound journals and precise sketches, while others fueled speculation with tales of hidden rooms and inexplicable phenomena. By night, many found themselves listening to the quiet thrum of history in the stone, caught between the rational desire to catalogue and the ancient temptation to simply marvel. Thus, over 2 long centuries, the Great Pyramid began to yield some of its secrets, cautiously, always keeping its greatest riddles folded gently in the chambers of time. As dawn slowly filters through the haze above Giza, let us imagine this age as one of methodical curiosity and dawning respect for ancient skill. The 19th and 20th centuries brought new faces and new intentions to the base of the Great Pyramid. Archaeologists, engineers, linguists, and artists, all drawn by a desire to unravel, rather than exploit, the puzzle set in stone. During these decades, explorers refined their tools and their questions. Sir Flinders Petrie, often described as the father of scientific archaeology, arrived in the late 1880s. He was nearly monastic in his gentleness, carefully cataloguing each fallen stone and measuring the pyramid to the 1/10 of an inch. Petrie's meticulous approach uncovered hidden details, traces of the pyramid's ancient casing stones, the measurement units used by the original builders, and the presence of micro-adjustments where masons deliberately corrected alignment errors mid-assembly. His work transformed our perception of the ancient Egyptians. No longer mere laborers under command, these were architects and craftsmen fully aware of geometry's subtleties and the ruler's divine expectations. Imagine standing quietly as Petrie's team sifts sand from ancient graffiti, the faint sound of brushes whisking away centuries, revealing the names of workers, quarry gangs, and cryptic inscriptions, each a personal note left for eternity. Later scholars, including George Riesner and Jean-Philippe Lauer, continued the gentle excavation, mapping not just passageways, but the world around the pyramid. Workmen's quarters, bakeries, cattle enclosures, and the causeway that once wove the Nile and the royal tomb together. Careful clearance of debris revealed secondary pyramids, ceremonial boats buried alongside the main structure, and ingenious architectural solutions, such as relieving chambers designed to absorb the pyramid's crushing weight. With every discovery came a greater sense of awe, each new detail deepening, rather than dispelling, the enigma. These excavations rarely found storied treasures or lost libraries. Instead, they found the everyday remnants of a vanished world: tools, pottery shards, a sandal, or the charred remains of ritual offerings. Each one, slipping softly between your fingers, invites you to imagine the hands that shaped it and the intentions behind every measured action. This age marked the transition to a quieter, more reverent inquiry, a time when the greatest treasures seemed not golden, but woven into the life rhythms of the builders and enshrined, obliquely, in the pyramid's enduring mystery. As our passage through the history of the Great Pyramid's construction draws to a gentle close, allow your imagination one final sweep across the Giza Plateau. The pyramid stands unchanged, worn only at the edges by time and wind, a monument whose legacy extends far beyond shifting sands and lost empires. Long after the last stone was set, the Great Pyramid continued to exert a quiet pull on every traveler, scholar, and dreamer who gazed on its silhouette. For the Greeks, it was a wonder to surpass all others, a symbol of order and reason. To later scholars, it became a cipher, its dimensions and alignments held to conceal geometric or spiritual truths whispered from another age. The true purpose of many features remained unresolved. Did the narrow passages truly channel a spirit's ascent, Or were they the architect's solution to unseen stresses of stone? Did the empty sarcophagus once cradle a king, or was it a vessel for rituals now forgotten? Each theory, however rational or fantastic, found its way into the ever-expanding legend, ensuring that the pyramid, while silent, was never mute. Yet even as its mysteries inspired centuries of speculation, the monument also grounded countless lives in the practical realities of labor, expertise, and community. Generation after generation returned to its base to create, learn, protect, or simply to marvel. Restoration work continued in ancient Egypt, with each dynasty making its mark on the guardianship of the site. In modern times, new waves of visitors arrive each day, some seeking facts, others content to wander, trace the lines of stone, and listen for echoes of distant prayers. The pyramid remains, above all, a testament to the enduring quest for meaning, an object shaped by human hands, but begging human explanation. Imagine, in the quietest hours of night, standing alone at its base, cool wind brushing your face, the stars wheeling above, feeling both impossibly small and wholly connected to the mystery of all who came before. Thus, as we move forward on our journey, the Great Pyramid invites us to rest in the space between knowledge and wonder, between what we know and what remains just beyond our reach, an eternal riddle, softly waiting in the silence of ages. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the unseen world that hums constantly around us. Invisible rain, a ceaseless drift of cosmic particles streaming through the blanket of our atmosphere, and, quietly, through the very stones of history's greatest monuments, these are the muons, born in the upper layers of the sky, traveling with patient persistence, harmless, silent, yet profoundly revealing to those who know how to listen. Muon tomography is a subtle craft, part physics, part patient artistry. While visible light cannot penetrate the massive bulk of the pyramid, muons, endowed with extraordinary energy, slip almost effortlessly through layers of rock. Yet, as they pass, something gentle but profound occurs. Dense stone slows them, and voids, empty pockets within, let more drift by. By carefully measuring how many muons pass through different points and comparing those numbers, researchers create a phantom portrait of what lies hidden within. Imagine the detectors quietly resting in the gloom, listening not for noise but for the absence of it. Each click a testament to another muon's passage, adds silently to a mosaic, a negative image where brightness means emptiness and shadow means implacable stone. Scanning the Great Pyramid is no hasty endeavor. Equipment is placed with great care in chambers and corridors. Researchers wait days, even weeks, for enough muons to accumulate, each one a brushstroke painting the contours of the unknown. Precision is everything, and so is patience. When the data is finally processed, it forms soft silhouettes, chambers seen not by eye, but by their gentle invitation to cosmic messengers. Consider this: long before the world invented light bulbs or X-rays, the stones of the pyramid were being gently, invisibly explored by muons, their passage unremarked. It is only in our time that we have learned to see through listening, to unravel secrets, not with force, but with patience and the softest touch of science. As this method confirmed the presence of the mysterious void above the Grand Gallery, the modern world was reminded the ancient is never truly silent to those who know where and how to listen. Let us linger a while with the revelation itself, the discovery that, far above the bustling tourist passages, held firmly within a cradle of stone, is a chamber untouched by light for thousands of years. Its existence whispers to us through readings and renderings, through the patient accumulation of invisible traces, rather than footprints or artifacts. This hidden space, sometimes called the Big Void, is not a room in the ordinary sense. Imagine floating just above the famed Grand Gallery, its steep stone incline leading to the heart of the monument. The void stretches for at least 30 meters in length, longer than a blue whale, nestled like a pocket of air in the pyramid's otherwise unyielding mass. Its cross-section, rendered by careful analysis, suggests a shape similar to the Grand Gallery just below, echoing its dimensions as if repeating an ancient architectural theme. No explorer has yet stood within this chamber. No lamp has yet dispelled its unbroken darkness. What little we know comes from the faintest hints. Perhaps the ceiling soars upward, echoing the corbelled roof just beneath. Perhaps the floor is rough with builder's marks, or perfectly smooth, finished with the same meticulous care as the visible galleries. Was it an intentional feature, or an artifact of construction? Space left to relieve pressure from the mighty stones pressing down above. Or perhaps it is symbolic, an unseen void to balance the monument's physical and spiritual weight, as Egyptians balanced earth with sky, and death with the promise of rebirth. So far, there are no shafts or doors leading into this space, nothing so inviting as the smooth passageways below. It is as if this chamber were designed for silence itself, a secret folded softly away during the pyramid's construction, never intended for living eyes or hurried feet. Pause now, and picture the mass of stone all around, millions of tons pressing from every side. Inside it, this tranquil emptiness persists, a whisper of possibility, inviting endless questions. Was it left to be discovered, or meant to be forever hidden? Does it hold relics, or only air? Like all great riddles, the answer seems just out of reach, sleeping still beneath centuries of vigilance. The Great Pyramid, with its unyielding patience, has quietly awaited the slow unfolding of understanding. Years after the initial discovery of the hidden chamber, scientists returned, drawn by the promise of fresh data and sharper clarity. This is a process not of haste, but of gradual revelation, each generation building gently on the last. Recent advances between 2023 and 2025 have brought new technology to old mysteries. Additional Moan detectors, now more sensitive and precise, are positioned not only in the known passageways, but nestled carefully along different axes of the pyramid. Some lie quietly just within the pyramid's ancient entrance. Others rest above and below the Grand Gallery, all tuned to the faintest variations in cosmic flux. For months, these instruments listened, not for movement, for in the pyramid's depths, all is silent. Instead, they attended to absence and presence, the subtle dance of particles, painting hidden outlines deeper and clearer with every passing hour. Data streams outward to waiting eyes, far from the desert, where algorithms and expert scrutiny peel back the millennia, layer by layer. These fresh readings never disrupt the pyramid's serene silence. Their revelations are gentle, additive, respectful. The results were clear. The void persists, neither illusion nor fluke, but a real physical space, solid and still. Some details emerge. Its length, orientation, and remarkable alignment remain consistent, its boundaries sharply defined by the absence of resistance to the cosmic rain. Still, questions only deepen. Attempts to glimpse more through ground-penetrating radar meet the quiet stubbornness of stone, revealing no clear entrances, no hidden artifacts within perceptible range. Robotic probes designed to pass through tiny shafts are held at bay, unable to navigate toward the void sanctuary without risk to the pyramid's fragile balance. This persistent, respectful investigation is itself a testament in the presence of such ancient and enduring craftsmanship. Even our most subtle technologies tread lightly, hesitant to disturb what time and intention have so perfectly preserved. Let your mind rest here for a moment, in the slow dance of discovery, reassured that the chamber is real, its existence recognized by science, but its meaning left to quietly ripen, untouched and undisturbed in the hush of the ages. As we gently contemplate the silence of the hidden chamber, the mind cannot help but wander down many avenues, each one a theory, quietly blooming, nurtured by curiosity and careful speculation. Archaeologists and Egyptologists, steeped in both knowledge and humility, have offered a multitude of explanations for this mysterious space. The first and most pragmatic is that of structural necessity. The Great Pyramid is not a solid mass. It is honeycombed with supporting chambers, relieving spaces, and voids that lighten the press of stone above critical passageways. Perhaps then, the hidden void above the Grand Gallery is simply that, a solution, crafted by ancient engineers, to guard against collapse. The shape, length, and parallel orientation could all serve to direct pressure away from the delicate Grand Gallery beneath, ensuring its survival across the ages. Yet some whisper of more purposeful intent. The mirror-like echo between the Grand Gallery and the hidden void above it suggests architectural design, not accident. Perhaps a rehearsal space constructed before the final gallery, or even a forgotten or symbolic corridor in its own right. Some propose its use as a construction chamber, a space in which work was staged, tools stored, or ramps anchored as the upper levels took their shape. Once its purpose was fulfilled, the chamber might have been sealed, left to slumber in dark anonymity. Others, drawn by the pyramid's spiritual resonance, ask whether this is a symbolic void, an absence made meaningful by ritual and belief. In Egyptian cosmology, the concept of mat, harmony and balance, infused every aspect of life and death. Could this space reflect a deliberate balance, an echo of the primordial mound rising from chaos, enclosed forever within the pyramid's heart? A more tantalizing, if less accepted, possibility is that this chamber was a burial space, prepared and then abandoned, or meant for a yet undiscovered occupant, royal or priestly, whose presence would alter all we know of the Giza necropolis. No evidence yet points to this, yet the chamber's pristine isolation invites speculation. Each theory, whether grounded in engineering or spirituality, carries a quiet grace, none dispelling the mystery, all inviting gentle contemplation. The void remains unchanged, a blank page in the chronicle of the pyramid, where every question is possible and every answer softly tentative. Beyond the solid pathways of engineering and archaeology, the Great Pyramid also nourishes a garden of wild dreams, a realm where speculation flowers, intertwining with the persistent quiet of ancient stone. In the hush of night, beneath vast desert skies, these theories take on a gentle allure, woven softly through the minds of seekers drawn to the margins of established truth. Some imagine the hidden chamber as a kind of cosmic engine, or energy chamber. In these speculations, the pyramid is not only a monument, but a vessel meant to channel unseen forces, be they telluric currents, magnetic flows, or energies waiting to be discovered anew. The precise geometry, the alignment with cardinal points, the interlocking stones without so much as a whisper of mortar. These features inspire visions of a structure humming silently with the rhythm of the cosmos, the hidden chamber serving as its heart or capacitor. Others, their thoughts turned even further skyward, evoke the Stargate concept, the chamber as a portal, not merely symbolic, but literal, a crossing point between worlds, planned with the wisdom of a vanished age. To them, the pyramid's alignment with Orion's belt and Sirius is not coincidence, but intent, mapping a celestial journey with the hidden chamber as both source and destination for the king's soul, or perhaps for visitations from beings beyond our world. A more scholarly, yet no less speculative, notion is that of a time capsule, a hidden repository, carefully concealed by ancient architects, holding scrolls inscribed with secret knowledge, lost inventions, or the very records of Atlantis itself. Some are convinced that the void was reserved for treasures never intended to be found until their rediscovery would change the course of civilization. The chamber, a trust fund bequeathed to the future. And quietly woven through all these tales is the ever-present possibility of an undiscovered tomb, the true resting place of Khufu or a high priest, sealed away not by chance, but by a cunning plan, waiting, patient as the stone itself, for the age attuned to receive its secret. While mainstream scholarship remains cautious, these speculative theories remain, softly echoing through documentaries, books, and dreams. The Great Pyramid, in its eternal dignity, allows all these stories to coexist with its mute reality, its hidden chamber large enough for every hope, every question, and every whispered wish for wonder. In the silent presence of the Great Pyramid, stories grow and take root, not only of physical chambers and stone, but of spirit, symbol, and cosmic destiny. For the ancient Egyptians, every facet of the pyramid pulsed with a sacred meaning, woven gently into rituals, beliefs, and the deepest mysteries of life and the afterlife. The pyramid shape, rising from the earth with smooth, unbroken slopes, was seen as the Ben, the primordial mound that first emerged from the waters of chaos at the beginning of time. On this sacred hill, the Creator God brought forth the world, just as each king in death would ascend and be reborn. The pyramid, in this way, was not merely a tomb but a powerful engine of resurrection, the very platform by which the pharaoh's spirit would rise from death to eternal union with the sun and stars. Imagine priests moving quietly around the pyramid's base, their incantations floating like murmured breezes. Each ritual recitation, each offering of incense or bread, reinforced the spiritual architecture, binding the world of the living to the world of the gods. The pyramid was simultaneously beacon and barrier, a conduit for the soul and a shield against spirits that might harm or entrap the pharaoh in his transformative journey. The hidden chamber, like so many unentered spaces in Egyptian monuments, may have been imbued with ritual significance. In a belief system where the invisible was as real as stone, an inaccessible void could represent the unknowable aspects of creation, a place not meant for the eyes of any living creature. Void and fullness, stone and air, presence and absence, all these had their place in the balance of Maat, the eternal harmony uniting the cosmos. Celestial alignment amplified this mystery. The pyramid shafts and orientation pointed purposefully to stars and constellations governing the afterlife. Orion, associated with Osiris, king of the dead, and Sirius, harbinger of the Nile's life-giving flood. As the pharaoh's Ka ascended, these heavenly markers would receive and guide him, their light slipping through stone passageways, merging earthbound ambition with the shimmering infinity overhead. Pause for a moment and let the tranquility of this worldview settle around you, a world in which every measurement was laced with spirit, every hidden chamber a message threaded softly from mortals to immortals. Let us drift higher into the night sky, as the ancient Egyptians once did, mapping timeless stories onto the shifting patterns of stars. The Great Pyramid, more than any other monument, reflects this marriage of earth and cosmos, its very orientation and features serving as a compass for the king's journey to eternity. Imagine standing by the pyramid at dusk, the stone glowing with the fading warmth of the sun, as night sharpens the constellations above. To ancient eyes, the stars were living entities, gods and ancestors glimmering in the cool heavens. Orion's belt, Sa, in the Egyptian tongue, marched proudly across the southern sky, linked forever with the god Osiris, patron of rebirth and ruler of the afterlife. From the earliest planning stages, surveyors and priests sought alignment not just with north and south, but with this most sacred constellation. They posited the entire site, 3 pyramids in a row, just as the belt's 3 stars shimmer above, an echo of divine pattern made manifest on earth. The Great Pyramid's air shafts, subtle and mysterious, appear to point precisely toward Orion and Sirius, star of Isis and herald of resurrection, at moments of great ritual significance. This alignment was not mere chance, nor only a feat of engineering. It was a statement of intent to bind the king's destiny to the cycles of the cosmos and to mark his tomb as a beacon, guiding his soul to join the imperishable ones, the undying stars that revolve eternally around the celestial pole. Through this network of orientation and symbolism, the pyramid was less a resting place than a ladder, each stone a step on the path to the stars, each shaft an avenue of ascent. Even today, under the gentle sweep of the Milky Way, the pyramid stands as a point of connection, a silent map, communicating to those who pause long enough to listen. Astronomers and dreamers from every century have felt its silent pull, measuring, calculating, checking the alignments, and wondering what ancient truths might be coded in the structure's very bones. As you listen, let your mind wander not just through stone corridors, but along starlit avenues of imagination, where past, present, and eternity intersect, and the purpose of every chamber, every angle, becomes a softly spoken promise of reunion in the heavens. As we gently reflect on the mystery of the Great Pyramid's hidden chamber, our thoughts may wander beyond Giza, across deserts and seas, into other times and civilizations where the world's great builders too created sanctuaries and secrets in stone. Hidden spaces have long been woven softly into the fabric of sacred architecture. Picture, for instance, the ziggurats of ancient Mesopotamia, massive terraced structures whose temples atop often featured secret, restricted rooms for rituals known only to priests and kings. The longing for connection with the divine, or for the magical protection of a ruler's legacy, inspired architects to hide rooms or cavities deep within, away from prying eyes and sometimes from collective memory. In India, the temples of Khajuraho and the Angkor complexes of Cambodia feature sanctums, a garbhagriha, or womb chamber, hidden beneath layers of stone and shadow, accessible only to select initiates. Such chambers, like the heart of the Great Pyramid, are both literal and symbolic, safe places for the most sacred images, a spatial metaphor for rebirth, and the central mysteries of existence. Their silence holds an expectation, not to be discovered casually, but to be entered with reverence, or, as often as not, left undisturbed. Greek and Roman sanctuaries too possessed their edita, secret inner rooms where only clergy dare tread, spaces sheltering sacred relics, oracles, or forbidden knowledge. In medieval Europe, cathedral builders embedded hidden passages, crypts, and sealed vaults deep below altars, perhaps to house relics, perhaps to create awe in the faithful, a thread tying together the urge to protect, to conceal, to sanctify through secrecy. The reasons varied, sometimes for safety, sometimes for ritual power, or to serve as spiritual engines amplifying the prayers and hopes of the people. But everywhere, the existence of a chamber hidden from sight, a room set apart and sealed within stone, hinted at a yearning that transcends any single culture, the hope that the most vital truths of life, death, and the sacred might be known only to those who truly seek. The Great Pyramid's hidden void, then, is far from alone. It is a part of this quiet tradition of leaving space for mystery in the heart of our grandest works, and inviting each generation, gently, to listen and wonder at what still lies quietly concealed. Drift with me now, as we draw to the closing of this deep exploration, to the threshold where knowledge softly blurs into mystery. The hidden chamber of the Great Pyramid, so recently revealed to the world by the gentlest probes of science, sits, even now, undisturbed and unlit. It is a place of emptiness, of silence bordered by immeasurable weight, and yet, paradoxically, a space filled with the quiet presence of boundless possibility. What draws us to these secret rooms within stone, these vacant spaces at the heart of our greatest structures? Perhaps it is the gentle reassurance that no matter how much humanity learns or how far technology reaches, there will always be places the world holds softly in reserve, questions waiting patiently in the hush of ages, mysteries that comfort us with their durability and promise of wonder. Modern exploration has not banished the spirit of dreaming from the pyramid. It has in many ways only deepened it. The chamber may be a relic of architecture, a release valve for pressure, a symbolic hollow left in the name of cosmic balance, or it could hint at purposes not yet imagined, a time capsule, a star map, a message for another era. Scholars debate, dreamers speculate, but the chamber simply endures, unchanged. In the cool hours of the Egyptian night, the pyramid recedes once again into shadow, its ancient stones gathering the day's warmth and releasing it beneath the gaze of eternal stars. The hidden chamber waits, perfectly reserved, inviting another generation to listen, to measure, to dream. So let your own thoughts wander gently alongside these ancient stones. Allow questions to rise and fall, like the tides of the Nile, never urgently seeking their answers, but resting for a while in the comfort that every civilization has left us a little room for wonder. In that gentle space, between certainty and imagination, the Great Pyramid reminds us that some mysteries are meant to last, not as puzzles to solve in haste, but as lullabies for the quiet mind. Now let us slowly pivot, letting the desert's evening hush settle around us and softly bring to mind the stories and knowledge we have gathered. Through all the centuries of exploration, invention, and gentle curiosity, the Great Pyramid yields facts, clear, measured, inscribed in the language of science. Yet it also sustains legends, echoes of possibility, and the soothing resonance of myth. What then do we truly know about the hidden chamber? The most concrete revelations are the result of patient technological advance. Muon tomography, that subtle communion with cosmic rain, has confirmed a large, continuous void above the Grand Gallery, one that has eluded all eyes and all previous tools until now. Its scale, position, and shape are no longer legend but fact, cross-verified by repeated scans and teams of experts. This chamber exists, its volume and outline are mapped, and it stands untouched, sealed in the hush beneath hundreds of thousands of tons of stone. There are details too about the rest of the pyramid, the alignment with the cardinal directions, north, south, east, west, within a fraction of a degree, the precision with which each block is placed, the traces of copper, wood, and human labor left on ancient tools and graffiti. Archaeologists have dated the structure to around 2560 BCE, during Khufu's reign, and found evidence of careful organization, planned communities to support the workforce, and the logistics that define a masterful project. Ground-penetrating radar and other forms of non-invasive imaging accompany muon scans, confirming the broad outlines of major corridors and voids, though proving far less effective in the densest parts of the structure. The facts, solid, reassuring, draw a clear picture of diligent construction, ingenious engineering, and intentional design. Yet within even these facts, there remains a gentle margin, a space for wonder. The chamber's use, its access, the purpose for which it was intended, these remain softly unresolved. No physical entry, no artifacts, no relics have explained its story. Fact and legend then exist together, measured truth on one hand, the enduring comfort of possibility on the other. The Great Pyramid, in its stately quiet, reminds us that certainty and wonder, known and unknown, find their balance in the gentle gathering of both. Let your attention slip now from the ancient dust and stories and rest quietly on the gentle touch of modern science as it seeks to reveal what the eye cannot see. Advanced imaging, particularly the art and patience of muon detection, has become the cherished torchbearer in the search for the pyramid's inner secrets. Muon tomography, with its origins in the study of cosmic rays, works almost like a celestial clock, silent, patient, and impossibly subtle. Each muon, born from high-energy collisions in the atmosphere, falls like a soft rain, passing through mountains, buildings, and pyramids alike. Sensitive detectors, placed strategically inside or near the pyramid, record these fleeting messengers. Over time, scientists create a shadow map, a quiet portrait where regions of denser stones slow the muons, and empty chambers let more slip gently through. This process demands extraordinary stillness and waiting. In the pyramid's depths, where heat and time hang heavy, detectors must tune out noise, decay, and even pulse with the shifting presence of people. Other imaging, ground-penetrating radar, seismic tomography, provides a different yet complementary view. Ripples sent through stone reflect back, mapping surfaces and voids, though less effective in such ancient, densely woven masonry. No holes are drilled, no blocks moved, no silence is violated. This non-invasive approach honors both the structure's dignity and the patience of those who built and protect it. Each scan takes days, weeks, or months, amassing a steady flow of data until, finally, the outline appears. In the case of the Great Pyramid's hidden chamber, the void asserted itself not in flashes or drama, but in months of persistent reading, a gentle certainty quietly accumulating, aligning with ancient, waiting mystery. Through this, science not only affirms facts, but reassures legend. The process itself becomes a meditation, a dialogue between past and present, between stone and sky. We learn by softly observing, by waiting, by letting time, both human hours and cosmic ages, move at its own pace. So nestled in the pyramid's embrace, technology offers us something ancient as well, the wisdom to listen first, to probe lightly, to accept that the deepest truths might not burst forth, but reveal themselves slowly, quietly, in the fullness of their own time. Let us rest gently upon a foundational truth of archaeology and science. Often it is in what we do not find that the greatest questions quietly linger. So far, all that technology and careful measurement have gifted us is the shape and presence of the hidden chamber, its echoes in muon scans, its alignment with the grand gallery, and its distance from any known passages. Its story remains, for now, as silent as the stone. No probe, tiny camera, or robotic explorer has crossed into the void. There is no discovered entry, no connecting tunnel, not even the faint mark of a chisel or an ancient workman's plumb line visible at the boundary. Ground-penetrating radar, seismic echoes, and every gentle approach have been met by the same patient, unbroken surface, a gentle refusal to grant us passage, as if the chamber itself prefers to remain softly undisturbed. We have found no relics, not a single funerary statue, not a sliver of pottery, nor a crumb of ancient mortar out of place. Unlike the treasures and texts revealed in the tombs of other pharaohs, this chamber gives neither hidden trove nor the satisfaction of an inscription. The quiet persists, inviting the mind to fill the void with dreams or possibilities, even as science counsels restraint. This absence is not a failure, but a feature, a space for humility. It is what allows both archaeological rigor and the gentle flight of speculation. The absence reminds us that not every chamber must be filled to bear meaning. Sometimes emptiness itself is the message, a gentle echo from the past inviting us to pause, ponder, and imagine. Here, in the intersection of careful science and patient expectation, the pyramid and its newly revealed space gently urge us not to rush, not to break the silence in pursuit of final answers. Instead, they invite us to rest in the present moment, to savor the dimension of not knowing, and to find comfort in the soft, enduring uncertainty that shapes the most memorable mysteries of the ancient world. As the night deepens around the pyramid, and our understanding settles quietly like desert dew, we reach a gentle crossroads where science softly touches legend and neither yields its place. For every data point mapped and each measurement confirmed, the stories that cling to the pyramid's ancient stones are not banished. Rather, they live on, adapting and echoing anew. Why do myths and alternative theories thrive, even as each chorus of evidence seems to narrow the scope? Partly, it is because the very shape of the pyramid, its immense age and silent grandeur, resists simple explanation. Each generation peers up at those weathered slopes and finds, reflected in their symmetry, a mirror for the dreams and anxieties of their own time. The tales are as old as memory. The pyramid, as a storehouse of lost wisdom, its sealed spaces filled with golden tablets or galactic messages. Some wonder if the chamber houses a spell, an artifact, even an ancient machine, an idea undimmed by every careful study. In the rhythm of New Age philosophies and speculative documentaries, the void becomes a chamber of secrets, and the pyramid itself a transmitter, beacon, or cosmic code. Even the names persist. Is it the burial vault of Khufu or a high priest, a secret vault to outwit tomb robbers, a cosmic observatory, or the earthly reflection of a celestial map? Stories persist, not because they are always likely, but because the pyramid so generously leaves room for narrative. Where facts end, wonder begins, and gentle wonder is as sustaining as certainty. Science, for all its patient rigor, does not need to erase this dreaming. Archaeologists and Egyptologists, when confronted by the persistent tides of myth, often respond not with argument, but with appreciation. These stories, legends of lost knowledge, hidden doors, immortal kings, add a gentle shimmer to the dry sands of knowledge. The pyramid thus becomes a gathering place, not only of tourists and scholars, but also of myth itself, a monument not just to human ambition, but also to the essential comfort of unanswerable questions. In the hush of the pyramid's chambers, and in the quiet pages of scientific journals, a delicate conversation unfolds, a dialogue between certainty and the unknown, between the careful hands of archaeologists and the dreaming minds of storytellers. This dialogue is not a contest, but a balance, gently maintained across centuries. Modern scientists approach the Great Pyramid with respect, etched deeply, not only for the ancient builders, but also for the traditions and dreams that have grown up in its shadow. To explore its mysteries is not to banish the unknown, but to illuminate without destroying, to measure without uprooting its spirit. The tools used, Munin detectors, seismic waves, radar, are wielded with patient reverence, always stopping well short of intrusion. There is a recognition that to expose every detail would be to extinguish something softly vital in the monument's spirit. The stories, in turn, nourish science. Legends and speculative theories inspire questions, the what-ifs, that lead to innovation and investigation. Architects wonder if some hidden geometry links the pyramid to stars. Engineers ponder whether ancient masons knew secrets about material strength lost to the ages. Even as each myth is examined, a sliver of its wonder is often retained, encouraging further search, further care. For every answer uncovered, a stone's true origin, a passage's purpose, a new layer of questions emerges, soft and persistent, ensuring the conversation remains unbroken. No scientist, however rigorous, is untouched by the silent awe of standing beneath those ancient stones, by the feeling that something, however elusive, may still be waiting to speak. It is this gentle balance between disclosure and discretion, between the rigor of method and the reign of dreams, that allows us to walk the corridors of the pyramid today, whether in body or in thought, with humility and peace. On your own journey through stone and silence, remember, science and mystery are not opposing forces, but soft companions on the long road of wonder. Let us pause and look back through the sweeping arc of time, gathering together both the tangible and the ineffable left by the pyramid's creators. Through every stone, every measured angle, and every chamber, hidden or revealed, the ancient Egyptians' legacy endures, steadfast against millennia of wind, weather, and inquiry. Their skills, once mythologized, are now understood as a marriage of remarkable tradition and creative innovation. Tools, survey lines, and organizational records found at Giza show mastery over copper, wood, and rope. Mathematical thinking, informed by centuries of observation, enabled them to translate celestial precision into architectural form. No lost technology was required, only care, discipline, and the gradual refinement of craft, a rhythm marking days and generations alike. Yet even as we lay bare their materials and methods, there is a gentle humility in realizing how little some things have changed. The impulse to honor, to memorialize, to build something that outlasts a single lifetime, these remain universal. The builder's signature, chiseled discreetly on an inner block, the careful planning of tombs and temples, even the invisible hands that design spaces meant to be left untouched, all remind us the makers of the Great Pyramid are not phantoms, but people, curious, skilled, rife with the same blend of reverence and imagination that we bring to their memory. Innovation was not just in the visible grandeur, but in the invisible art, the balance between fullness and emptiness, between chamber and void. Every decision, from the alignment of the base to the possible sealing of a symbolic chamber, reflects a worldview at once pragmatic and spiritual, grounded in earth, but open to the sky. Their traditions survive, quietly echoing through the stone. The annual rituals, the offerings of grain and incense, the calendars marked by stars, traditions that tell us what was known and hint at what was believed. Each new discovery, each scientific advance, feels less like a revelation and more like a reunion, a gentle return to the ongoing conversation between past and present. The unchanging core of the pyramid, then, is not certainty or enigma alone, but the soothing coexistence of both, a monument raised for memory, but also for hopeful, restful dreaming. Now, let us wander softly into the present, where the shadow of the Great Pyramid stretches gently across not only the sands of Giza, but also the landscape of the world's imagination. The monument endures not just as stone, but as an emblem of wonder, a magnetic presence in the quiet dreaming of cultures far and wide, from children's picture books to scholarly treatises, from classic films to serene bedtime stories. The image of the pyramid, as timeless as a mountain, as perfect as a star, remains instantly recognizable. In art and literature, its silhouette suggests mystery, wisdom, and the enduring search for meaning. Writers conjure secret doors and eternal riddles. Artists paint the pyramid as a vessel for sun and shadow, poised between earth and sky. Popular culture is woven through with myths, tales of hidden chambers, lost treasures, magical energies, and messages for the future. These stories may drift gently away from archaeological fact, but they pose no harm, serving instead as lullabies for curiosity, gentle invitations to re-enter the soft repose of childhood wandering. To many, the pyramid is not so much a riddle to be solved as a comfort, proof that, in a world where so much is fleeting, something grand and ancient abides. Science fiction imagines the pyramid as a beacon or alien monument, a bridge between planets or dimensions. Mystical traditions turn its geometry into a tool for meditation and healing. Travelers arrive from every quarter of the globe, content simply to trace the cool stones with their hands and to listen, quietly, for the heartbeat of history echoing through the night air. Even in a world of blinking screens and busy days, the pyramid remains a gentle pause, a symbol of all that is soothingly unsolved, quietly persistent, and deeply human. The chamber within, now partially revealed, serves only to deepen the sense of promise that the world still holds secrets, that discovery is never truly finished, that awe itself can be a source of rest. Allow yourself a smile at this enduring influence, a soft gift from the sands of Egypt, still waiting, still welcoming the curious mind into its fold. As the world grows ever more illuminated by science and reason, there is still a gentle comfort to be found in the persistent shadows cast by unsolved mysteries. The Great Pyramid, and particularly its hidden chamber, remains a testament to this subtle balance, the way certainty and uncertainty nestle quietly side by side. Why do some questions remain unanswered, even when so much has been observed, measured, and catalogued? Partly, it is the nature of both history and human curiosity. The farther back we peer, the more the layers of time soften the facts, blending them softly with myth and forgetting. Artifacts erode, records fade, and even the clearest chamber may hold only empty air, inviting reflective pause rather than resolution. But it is just as much by choice, and sometimes by design, that mysteries remain gently intact. Archaeologists and scientists, wise in their approach, have learned to accept limits, to preserve as well as to investigate. Rather than force open every last stone, they choose to listen, to imagine, and to leave certain doors unopened. For now, protecting not only the structure, but the atmosphere of wonder on which the pyramid's legend depends. For the listener too, there is calm in this not knowing, a comfort in the idea that some part of the past is kept carefully in reserve. In a world often overwhelmed by information, mystery becomes a space to rest the mind. The pyramid's hidden chamber may be only a void in stone, yet it is full of promise, containing all the possibilities we can dream. Let your thoughts drift here, at the threshold between clarity and wondering. In this space there is no rush, no demand for answers, only the soothing rhythm of questions softly repeating, echoing across the centuries like distant footfalls through the passageways of time. Mysteries, it turns out, are not flaws in the human story, but gentle reminders that life's quietest truths often wait in silence, patiently, for those willing to wander slowly and listen. Let us move now, softly, from legend to stewardship, a gentle theme that connects the laborers and priests of Khufu's time with today's guardians and scholars. The Great Pyramid's stone mass has always required care, its mysteries, patient respect. In the modern era, these responsibilities are carried with the same quiet diligence as in ages past. Egypt's archaeologists, conservators, and cultural officials approach their work as both science and devotion. Each new discovery, whether a subtle variation in the stone's density or a trace of ancient pigment, brings with it the obligation to protect. The pyramid's structure, battered by time and weather, stands under constant watch. Efforts are made to prevent erosion, limit invasive tourism, and manage the pressures of crowds and climate. New research, using ever more refined methods, proceeds only after careful deliberation. The balance is delicate. Curiosity is welcomed, but so is restraint. For the hidden chamber, especially, the mood is one of gentle anticipation. Should it ever be explored physically, the questions of risk, preservation, and respect for what lies undisturbed will weigh heavily, echoing the builder's own care in sealing what they created. International collaborations flourish quietly in the dusk of research labs as Japanese, French, Egyptian, and other teams pool data and expertise. The results are shared widely, not only in scientific journals, but also in exhibitions, documentaries, and quiet educational initiatives meant to nurture a new generation of gentle wanderers. Crucially, the pyramid's guardians see themselves not as conquerors of the past, but as companions to it, tasked not only with revealing, but with listening, preserving, and passing along the mystery. They invite all who come to the Giza Plateau to move slowly, to reflect, to ponder, and to recognize that true awe is born not from possession, but from patient, respectful encounter. The Great Pyramid's lessons about balance, waiting, and honor are woven, reassuringly, into the very rhythm of its modern life, timeless instructions for a world that so often moves too quickly. As our exploration gently nears its end, let yourself recline in the quiet warmth of reflection, soothed by the enduring hush of the Great Pyramid's presence across time. For all the science, all the stories, all the careful stewardship, the ancient stones themselves invite you to simply be, to listen softly, to dwell a moment longer in the placid mystery they embody. The pyramid, standing sentinel against wind and time, offers a kind of lullaby, an invitation to settle the mind in the rhythm of wonder, rather than in the fever of seeking answers. It stands as both fact and miracle, a tomb and a marvel, a product of sweat, dreams, and the hope that something beautiful, orderly, and sacred might outlast its makers. The hidden chamber, newly found and still unentered, becomes the purest symbol of this hope. Its silence reassures. In a world too often intent on finality and exposure, it promises perpetual pause, a space for dreams, a place for gentle speculation, a reminder that some truths, like the softest music, are best experienced in quiet expectation, not rushed into clarity. So many have come to the pyramid, generation after generation, guided first by duty, later by fascination, and now by a balance of reverence and wonder. Scientists and sleepwalkers, poets and practical minds alike, all find something to cherish in its ambiguity, something restful in its enduring riddle. Whether by torchlight or data stream, by drone or by dreaming, the journey is ever incomplete, and therein lies its comfort. In the final hush of night, it becomes clear the Great Pyramid's enigma is not an obstacle to knowledge, but a gentle harbor for curiosity. The unanswered question, the unentered room, the balance of stone and shadow, all quietly urge us toward peace, inviting us, with the patience of ages, to lie down and rest. Let the pyramid's mystery settle around you, offering solace, not with answers, but with the timeless assurance that you are not alone in wondering, and that wonder itself is enough. The journey through Giza's ancient monument has drawn to a gentle close. We have wandered corridors old and new, traced mysteries with fingertips and with particles, and listened to the voices of builders, scholars, and dreamers, all echoing in stone. The Great Pyramid stands now as it always has, a tomb for a king and a riddle for the world. Its hidden chamber, silent and unbroken, holds not just air or history, but the universal longing for answers that soothe rather than disturb, for a wonder that lulls rather than alarms. As you drift off, comfort yourself with the knowledge that beneath the same stars, long ago and today, people have rested in the gentle awe of unknowing, warmed by hope, cooled by silence, rocked to sleep by the eternal lullaby of secrets kept softly by stone. Good night, and may the mysteries of ancient Egypt cradle your dreams.